Okay, go ahead and take out your notebook for College Planner. Our first unit is called My Educational Future. Today's lesson is called Who Are You and What Do You Want? So go ahead and write today's date. Do not write the word date. I want you to write, like, for example, if today's the 30th, then you would write 8:30. Or you can write August 30th. Whatever today's date is. Okay? And this is called Who Are You and What Do You Want? Who are you and what do you want? Okay. If you look at this lesson, before we get started, let's scroll down and take a look at this. You'll notice that there are some tiny tutors, which we'll do in a little while. You'll see the goals for your lesson, and then there's vocabulary words. If you keep scrolling down, you'll see a video, and then another tiny tutor, and another video, another video. So that on this lesson, there are several videos. And if you look at the top left-hand corner of your screen, you're going to see page numbers. If you click on page 2, it's going to go to page 2. Sometimes on some of the lessons there are games or review exercises for you to review the lesson. Okay? On the left corner of your page, go ahead and click page 1. Let's go back to page 1 and let's look at the goals for our lesson. So I'm going to scroll down a little bit. Our goals for this lesson are to explain why having a purpose or reason for going to college is important, and explain why college is important in today's world. I didn't talk to you about your notes, so let's discuss it a little bit. In your notebook, I want your notes to be neat. Your notebook paper has 2 red lines, one on either side of the page. I do not want you to write in the margins. I want your notes to be neat. At the top, there's a large white space at the top of your page that is also a margin. Do not write in that margin as well. Okay, you may print your notes. You may write them in cursive. You can use pencil or pen. I don't care. But they have to be neat. I have to be able to read them. Okay? All right, let's look at our vocabulary word. I'm going to read the definition and then say the word. I want you to repeat the word after me. Having supreme power and control is sovereign. Say the word sovereign. All right. Let's scroll back to the top of the page. Jeremiah 29:11 says, "For I know the plans I have for you, saith the Lord, plans for good and not for evil, plans to give you a future and a hope." Okay? The first thing we need to understand is that God has a plan for your life. You need to understand that God has a plan for your life. Do you really believe that? Lots of students have a vague idea that, yes, God has a plan, but it usually involves something off in the distant future. Marriage, career, maybe ministry. But if you truly believe that God is sovereign, that His plan for your life doesn't suddenly begin after you've graduated from college and gotten settled into your first real job, God knew His plan for your life before you were born. Okay? And if God believes in learning planning, early planning, we should too. So the first thing we need to realize is that God does have a plan for your life. God has not forgotten you. God has a plan for your life. The college planning process is just that. It's a process. It's not a matter of signing a few papers and writing a check, then packing your bags. It involves lots of planning and organization in order to make the right choices. So the earlier you start, the better. Some students wait until their junior year of high school before they begin thinking about college. That can still get the job done, but it's much easier for those who start a lot earlier. Okay. So college planning is a process. College planning is a process. Okay. Why? Okay. Why? It's very tempting to dive right off into the college planning process and start dreaming about where you want to go, what you hope to study, and who your roommates will be. But like so many things in life, it's good to start at the very beginning. It's best to start by thinking honestly about who you are. Instead of thinking about college first, you know how you always learn how not to think of yourself? Well, right now I'm going to tell you to think of yourself, okay? Before you even think about planning for college, you need to think about yourself, okay? You need to honestly think about who you are. What type of person are you? What do you really want out of college? Why do you want to attend college in the first place? Before you ever start on any project, it's important to know what you will be doing, the how-to. But even more importantly, you need to know the why process. What a person, without a purpose or a reason, all the energy and effort you put into the how will be wasted. So the first step just might be the most important part of the whole process. This college planner can help you with some of the practical how-to steps. But your purpose in going to college, your why is personal. It's just between you and the Lord. This class can even help you some in that area by getting you to think and challenging you to do some sincere soul searching. But in the end, the why is up to you. So I guess instead of just saying why, I need to make sure you understand what we're asking. Why go to college? That's what the why means. Why go to college? Why is it that you want to go to college? Because your friends are going? Because your parents say that's what you're supposed to do? Because everybody else is doing it? Why do you want to go to college? Why go to this college rather than that college? Why major in business? Why not major in anthropology? Why won't a school closer to home be just as good? Why participate in athletics? Maybe you've already started to ask yourself some of these questions. Maybe you've heard them from your parents. Answering some of these questions is just the first step. In getting answers to your questions, nothing beats getting some helpful advice. We've gathered a panel of experts to help answer questions asked by high school students and their parents. And there's a video about the experts. You can watch it in a minute. To help you gain a good understanding of what you want from your college experience, there's another video here. It says click on the image and answer each of the questions the video asks. Don't let anyone influence you in this part of the process. It's important to think for yourself. Just because it's right for your friends, it may not be right for you because you're different people. So you have to consider yourself. And so the first step of planning for college is you have to get to know yourself. Let's settle one important issue right up front. No, college isn't for everyone. But it is for almost everyone. Why? Because we live in a world that is growing more and more complex every day. Higher education and specialized skills allow students to have a better chance at success. Our world expects demands a college education today. A helpful tip. Make copies of everything, your applications, your letters of recommendation, your transcripts, your essay. You never know what you might need to send or resend to a college. It's always better to be safe than sorry. So the first thing that you need to consider is, why go to college? That's a helpful tip. I just think that they put it in the wrong place in the lesson because we haven't got there yet. I'm going to put a star here. Since they said it, I'm going to go ahead and write it. Make copies of everything. When I say everything, just like your letter said, that's anything that you send to a college, get a copy of it. Your application, letters of recommendation, your transcripts, your essay. Just in case you have to resend it, you don't have to sit there and try to type it all over again. All right. This lesson is giving you an assignment. You need to write a 250-word essay on the subjects covered in this lesson. But before you begin writing, read over these tips for writing a better paper. They'll help you with all the writing projects in this course and with your other writing assignments in the future. Okay. So we said that God has a plan for your life. College planning is a process. And we talked about why go to college. Okay? It's asking you, why are you wanting to go to college? It wants you to think for yourself, why do you want to go to college? Okay? And remember, make copies of everything. Anything that you send to a college, you make a copy of it. Okay? Now let's talk about the projects for this class. Okay. As you work on your college planner projects, you will want to follow these tips to help you with each report. Okay, so let's talk about projects. This is what is required from your projects. Okay. Tip number 1. Don't wait until the last minute and try to cram and do the report or do the project. So tip number 1, start now. Start now. Don't wait till the last minute. You'll be amazed at the quality of your work and your grade if you start early. Trying to complete an assignment with one eye on the clock is guaranteed to make it a traumatic and nerve-wracking experience. Procrastinating on this assignment will keep you from actually learning and enjoying the college planning process. Instead, you'll simply be fighting to get it done. You'll lose out on a lot of valuable information that you could benefit from long after this assignment has been turned in. So always start early. Tip number 2. Don't cut the corner by cutting and pasting. Tip number 2. You might believe that you're doing yourself a favor by cutting and pasting from the internet or Encyclopedia CD-ROMs, but you're wrong. First of all, plagiarism is lying. And that's what you're doing when you take someone else's hard work and call it your own. In Psalms it says, "Who has a great relationship with the Lord?" And the answer is found in the 15th Psalm in the 2nd verse. "He that walketh uprightly and worketh righteousness and speaketh the truth in his heart." A student who wants to honor God will be honest in all of his studies. Please remember that your work must be truthful. Besides, if you're cheating your way through this course, you won't be doing any real learning. Okay? I'm going to put no plagiarizing. Okay. Let's see. It's plagiarizing. No plagiarizing. Okay? Plagiarism also makes your paper a literary disaster. Cutting and pasting simply results in a disorganized confusion of writing styles and levels of education that are crammed into one report. Readers notice plagiarizing as well. They'll wonder why the writing doesn't resemble your style or point of view. Cutting and pasting is unnecessary anyway, because you'll find plenty of research to do your own work. Your local library can complement your information you gather on the internet. Interviewing a teacher or guidance counselor could also be helpful. Just remember to put things in your own words. Give your true insights, and always cite your sources. You'll also get a better grade when you use quotes and specific references in your work. Okay? So you don't have to plagiarize. Go get your own work. And it listed some sources that you could use. Sources. They said the internet, library, and they even said interviewing somebody. And this also said cite your sources. That's important. Cite your sources. No, this marker did not write that very well, did it? Cite your sources. Okay. Okay, so we're talking about tips for your projects, what's required of you when you do projects. We said tip number 1 is start now. Don't wait till the last minute. Tip number 2, no plagiarizing. Here's some sources. You can use the internet, library, interviews. Remember to cite your sources. Okay, now let's talk about tip number 3. Okay, tip number 3. Find someone to proofread your work before you hand it in for the final grade. Okay. Person to proofread. Most publishing houses have people who are proofreaders. Their job is to look for mistakes, misquotes, and confusion in a written work. After a proofreader or editor has corrected a lesson, a person can know that it is probably clear, correct, and much better than the original effort. In the past, you may have received suggestions that improved your writing or even gave you new ideas to pursue and add to your work. Do the same with your paper about your college plans. Ask a friend or relative to read your reports and give their honest opinion. A proofreader can give you hints for making a report easier to understand by eliminating or refining unclear thoughts. You know what you meant to say? You know what you meant to say, but did the reader get the meaning as well? A proofreader will help clarify your thoughts. Okay. You need a person to proofread. Let them be honest. Let them be honest. Don't take offense because they don't understand something. Let them be honest. That will help you become a better writer if you take their advice. Remember, a wise person learns from other people. That way you don't have to make all the mistakes yourself. Okay? Tip number 4. Tip number 4. Follow the rules and you'll be okay. Remember, if you follow the requirements we give you, you'll be on the right track. The style of the reports and other projects of the College Planner course are all presented as a guideline for you. Just follow the rules you are given. Do thorough research and make an effort to do a good job, and you won't have to redo any of your reports or be in danger of failing grades. Okay, follow the rules. Follow the rules. Always go back, look at what you're supposed to be doing, look at the requirements, and make sure you do them. Okay? Do you want a top grade? Follow these guidelines. When writing an essay, make sure your essay theme is easily identifiable and incitable. Teach the reader something new. I'm not going to write these down. These are on page 2 in your lesson. Make sure you go back and read them, but I am going to read them right now. Number 2, make sure your report has good transitions from point to point. Give solid topic sentences, followed by paragraphs which support those topic sentences. Number 3, make sure you give enough evidence to support every point you make. At least one example per argument is a good rule of thumb. Feel free to use quotes to back up your statements. Again, don't forget to cite your sources. Your paper will also sound more reliable when you refer to outside sources, such as good reference books or web links. Number 4, use your head. Give the reader an analysis of your topic. What is your opinion about the information you gathered? Do you think the information is accurate? Okay, why or why not? Number 5, assemble your ideas so that the paper flows logically. Are your views and accumulated facts reasonable and sound? Approach and answer possible counter-arguments to your presentation. For example, if you say that you feel like every Christian should attend a Christian college, you may want to address the argument that Christians are called to be in the world, not in a Christian hothouse. Okay. Number 6, make sure your paper's mechanics are in order. Bad sentence structure, grammar, or punctuation can ruin an otherwise perfectly good report. Strive for the correct use of punctuation and no spelling errors. Have your proofreader check for run-on sentences and comma splices. There are websites, you can Google spell checker or grammar checker on the computer, and you can copy and paste your report in there, and it will also help you find spelling errors and grammar errors. Okay? Number 7, for all the projects, be sure you follow the instructions as they are given. Okay. Remember, this says that you have to write a 250-word essay on the subjects covered in this lesson. Okay. So, assignment. I'm going to put a star here. Assignment. It wants you to write a 250-word essay and actually when you close this lesson, the next you have a project. It says report God's plan for you, and it explains this project to you. We talked about, why do I really want to go to college? And if you read through this will explain your report to you. Okay, why do I want to go to college? Based on Jeremiah 29:11 and other relevant scriptures, what kind of person would I like to become? Do I know what I want to major in? Has God called me to a specific area of ministry? Do I know some of my gifts and talents? Make sure you answer these in your report. Okay? I don't want it just yes, no, no. Make sure you write this so it flows. Write a paragraph, write your essay and put the answers in sentence form, and make sure you answer these questions. How important is my Christian faith? Would I enjoy the challenge of facing people with a variety of different beliefs? Or would a Christian college be more to my liking? What are my educational goals? What do I really want to get out of college? What are my expectations? What do I really know about different types of people? How much diversity have I really experienced? Would I thrive in a setting where I could learn from a variety of different people, different cultures, different religions, different Yeah. Or would I feel threatened? Would I rather stay with people who are basically like me? Do I look forward to the idea of being away from home, from family and friends? Am I worried about being homesick? What's my definition of success? So far, am I happy with my accomplishments in life? What are the most important what are the most important values? Spiritual, moral, political, financial in my life? How will my college environment affect my values? Do I expect college to change me in any way? Why or why not? So there are several questions there. Probably what I would do, I would get a piece of paper and first I would answer these questions, or as many as I could, and then I would figure out how to arrange them in my reports. And that should pretty well get you pretty close to this 250 words just by answering these questions in your own words. Okay? All right, let's go ahead and study this lesson. Study your notes. Let me see your notes and I'll unblock the lesson.